Hello and welcome back to Scout Report. Today we'll look at the 5 biggest underperforming clubs in Europe so far this season. Let's go! 5. Barcelona. Barcelona may sit top of La Liga, but the reigning champions are performing far from their best. Having spent €268 million in the summer on the likes of Frankie de Jong, Antoine Griezmann and Junior Firpo, Blaugrana fans and neutrals alike expected to see this team dominate La Liga and Europe. Instead, Bars have looked far from convincing, and expected goals would even suggest they're lucky to be as high as they are in the table. The title holders have scored 35 goals in La Liga, however, according to XG, they should have 23, 12 goals fewer, which was remarkably the biggest difference for any side in the top 5 European leagues this season. Having won the title comfortably by 11 points last term, such dominance looks unlikely this campaign, with 3 defeats already, matching last season's total number of losses. Much of the blame has been put on manager Valverde, who is failing to get the best out of a front three of Messi, Suarez and Griezmann, particularly the latter, who is yet to settle into life at the new camp. The Frenchman has 4 goals in 16 games so far, looking far from worthy of his €126 million fee. And the 28-year-old's stats are declining. His expected goals and assists currently stand at 0.4 per 90. That's the 7th lowest in the squad, below the likes of Vidal and the lowest of his La Liga career. He's particularly struggled away from home, with only 3 shots on target in 9 games in all competitions. For context, Messi has played half the minutes because of injury and already has 9. Of course, highly dependent on the Argentine, Barca have also struggled without Sergio Busquets in the side. Their 3 defeats have all occurred without the Spaniard starting, unbeaten in the last 12 games he has. The 31-year-old was unable to help his side to victory against Slavia Prague in November though. A 0-0 draw at home was the first time Barcelona have failed to score in a competitive game at the Camp Nou since February 2018. A worrying stat for a side that should be taking Europe by storm. 4. Tottenham Hotspur. 2019 has been a roller coaster of a ride for Spurs. The Champions League provided the club with some iconic moments, reaching the final in dramatic fashion before missing out on the trophy to Liverpool. Still a great achievement for Pochettino and co, who also secured top 4 in the league once more. These feats should have been something to build on. However, fast forward 6 months and the Argentine has been shown the exit door following a dismal start to the campaign, as the Lily Whites now play catch-up with Mourinho at the helm. 13 games into the season and Spurs have just 17 points, 13 points fewer than they had at this stage last term. Their underperformance has been notable in defence, where they've shipped as many as 19 goals. That's more than the likes of Wolves and Crystal Palace. But unsurprising when they're conceding 14.9 shots per game, the 4th worst record in the league and the 2nd lowest away from home. Toby Alderweireld and Jan Vertonghen have played their part in this. The Belgian duo have been formidable at the back for Spurs in recent years, but with the pair now in their 30s and contracts expiring in the summer, they're showing worrying signs of decline, shutting out the opposition just once this season. Another player running down his contract is Danish playmaker Christian Eriksen. The 27-year-old has been far from his best this season and looks short of ideas, with 1.4 key passes per 90, down from last season's 2.1. This is also reflected by his expected goals and assist value, which sits at 0.22 per 90, his lowest figure since his first year in England and inferior to the likes of Aston Villa's Jack Grealish. Up front, Harry Kane continues to fire with 7 goals so far, but he's actually down on numbers too. Last season he managed a solid 0.6 expected goals per game, but that's down to 0.44 this term, the lowest of his career. Mourinho's arrival looks to be sparking a revival, but with the North London outfit currently 9 points off his former Chelsea side, who sit 4th, a Europa League spot seems most likely for Spurs. 3. Borussia Dortmund. Dortmund spent much of last season in the driving seat for the Bundesliga title, narrowly losing out to rivals Bayern. But this season BVB are playing catch-up, currently sitting 6th in the league with 20 points from 12 games. And although they can't be ruled out the title race just yet, as only 5 points separate them from leaders Mönchengladbach, their chances are looking slimmer by the game. Defensively, Dortmund have been dire, conceding 18 goals, 1 more than newly promoted side Union Berlin. The German runners-up are also allowing more shots on their goal, from 10.3 per game last term, which was the 3rd fewest in the league, to 12.3 this campaign, only good enough for 7th. And they've not been helped by their goalkeeper Roman Bürki, who is going through a difficult spell. Last season, the 29-year-old was one of the top shot stoppers in the league with 2.8 saves per game, but that's down drastically to 1.7 this term. In comparison, Bayern skipper Manuel Neuer is facing less shots and making 2.7 saves a game. Going forward, farther side are also underperforming. In the league, they've scored 26, which is not bad, but expected goals suggest they've been a bit lucky, as according to XG, they should have netted 22. 4 goals fewer. Although there's not been any major underperformers in attack, Marco Reus is certainly capable of producing more. The 30-year-old is the side's top scorer with 7 in all competitions, but his numbers are down across the board. An expected goals and assist value of 0.57 per 90 is the lowest of his career, and a huge decrease from last term's 0.91. The captain is also making less key passes with 1 per 90, his worst record in the Bundesliga, and pales in comparison to the likes of Thomas Müller, who's creating 2.2 chances per game. Reus may have saved his manager's job with a last-minute equaliser against Paderborn, but he and his colleagues must do more to turn around this slump in form, before Favre becomes yet another manager to face the chop this season. 2. Arsenal. Pressure continues to mount on Unai Emery as his Arsenal side are performing way below expectations. The North London side are currently 8 points off the top 4 and have just 18 points from 13 games. For context, they were 9 points better off at this stage last season. Their failure to see off games from winning positions has played a big part in this. Failing to win 5 matches having led this term, only Spurs have managed more with 7. There was optimism in the air in the summer when Arsenal splashed out on Ivorian winger Nicolas Pepe for a record transfer fee of €79 million. But the 24-year-old is yet to justify the price, scoring just 1 league goal at the time of writing, and that was a penalty. The former Lille man looks short of confidence in front of goal, hitting the target just 0.7 times per game, down from 1.6 last term. Unsurprisingly, this has put his expected goals and assists value down from 0.85 in Ligue 1 last term to 0.52 in the Premier League. One player they've had to rely on heavily is Bernd Leno. Arsenal have conceded 19 at the time of writing, but that could have been a lot worse had it not been for the German keeper. The 37-year-old has made 52 saves so far, that's more than any other goalie in the league. A positive in the sense they have a solid shot stopper, but concerning they're conceding 16.8 shots per game, with only Norwich and Aston Villa shipping more. The Arsenal defence must take a lot of the blame, as must former captain Granit Xhaka. Now out of favour at the Emirates, the 27-year-old failed to produce much protection for the defence. The ex-Basel man was reckless in the tackle, conceding 2.4 fouls per game, with only Crystal Palace's Luka Milivojevic conceding more. His troubles have reflected the mood at the club, and it may not be long before Emery is relieved of his duties. 1. Napoli. Much like their recent match-up, it was a close call between AC Milan and Napoli for our list, but it's the latter that edges it. The partner pair have been largely disappointing this season, with 20 points from 13 games, only enough to occupy 7th place. Considerably poor for a side that have established themselves as Champions League regulars with 4 top 3 Serie A finishes in a row. Reports of fallings out between the manager Carlo Ancelotti, the players and the club's chairman Aurelio De Laurentiis has posed plenty of problems behind the scenes. And unsurprisingly, this has filtered through to the pitch. Rumours that the likes of Koulibaly, Allen and Mertens are planning their futures elsewhere has not helped matters. The Belgian is a legend amongst Napoli fans, recently overtaking Diego Maradona in the club's all-time scoring charts with 116 goals. However, with the 32-year-old's contract expiring at the end of the season, his performances on the pitch have dipped. He currently has 4 league goals and just 1 assist this term. In fact, his expected goals and assists is the lowest of his Napoli career at 0.56 per 90. The skipper Lorenzo Insigne has also not been at his best. The Italian had an electric start under Ancelotti, scoring 9 and assisting 3 in his first 13 games in 2018-19. In the same number of games this term, he has 3 goals and 4 assists, and his shots per game are down 2. Last campaign he managed 4.3 a match, only inferior to Cristiano Ronaldo's 5.7. But this campaign, the 28-year-old's efforts on goals have dropped dramatically to 2.4 a game. The free-flowing football they played under Sarri is now a distant memory. The Serie A runners-up have failed to find the net in 2 home league games this season, as many as the whole of last campaign. The commitment from the players has been questioned, and that's been echoed by their running stats. At the time of writing, Napoli have covered 103 kilometres in distance per game. That's the second lowest in the league. Defensively, the Blues are also looking more fragile as they've conceded 13.3 shots per game, that's the 10th in the league for that metric. Last season they conceded 2 fewer a game at 11.4, which was the 3rd best in Serie A. The Champions League has provided some strong results for Napoli, with the Blues yet to lose. But they'll need to massively improve domestically if they're to return to Europe's elite competition for 2020-2021. So that was our scout report of 5 teams currently underperforming in Europe. What did you guys think of our list, and did we miss anyone out? Let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to leave a comment, subscribe to the channel and leave a like as well, and I'll see you next time. Bye!